is Valley News Live at 4.
We begin today with breaking news just into our newsroom. We now know the names of the people involved in a deadly crash on I-29 in Fargo yesterday afternoon. Deputies say 73-year-old Luis Juera of Morton, North Dakota, died, and 72-year-old Clinton Juera is in serious condition. The other driver involved is 22-year-old Taylor Hemish of Fargo. That crash happened at 3 yesterday afternoon on the overpass near West Acres Mall. Deputies say the Jueras were pulled over on the side of the road standing next to their truck when an SUV driven by Hemish hit their truck, hitting them both. Also new for you at 4, 3 students have been killed. 6 other people are injured, and a suspected shooter is in custody after a shooting at a high school north of Detroit today. The shooting happened just before 1 p.m. at Oxford High School. Police say the suspect, a 15-year-old sophomore at the school, was taken into custody within 5 minutes. A handgun has also been recovered. Officials say all 3 who died are believed to be students. A teacher is among the 6 people hurt. A news conference is happening at the school right now. You can check the VNL News app for updates throughout the evening. 25-year-old Sawyer Richardson of Wahpeton is arrested for allegedly firing multiple rounds of his AK-47 near Casey's Bar in Breckenridge Sunday morning. The bar was put into lockdown as police searched for Richardson. Wahpeton police say he was involved in a fight with 2 other men inside the bar earlier. Witnesses say they saw Richardson pull the rifle from a vehicle before shooting. No one was injured. He was arrested for reckless discharge of a firearm and for threats of violence. Nathan joins us now with a first look at your forecast. Nathan?
Thanks, Stacy. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We're watching very carefully this system making its way through. It's a fast mover, but we are seeing some snowfall along with that making its way into our Devils Lake Basin counties. And we'll pause the radar here and get you a look at where things are occurring as we speak. Where we're seeing the coldest air, Devils Lake and points off north toward the Can-Do area, is where we're more likely to see that snowfall at this point. You can see south toward Maddock, Carrington. Things are warm enough to where we're seeing some rainfall there. Now, this may be enough to create some slippery spots. Right now, it looks like along and north of Highway 2 based on the temperature profile that we're seeing here for this afternoon. But again, it's a quick moving system, not expecting much in the way of accumulation from this system as it makes its way through. But yes, even in the metro, we could see some of these showers here later on this evening in the next couple of hours or so as the system pushes its way eastward. Here's what we're watching for the weekend. I know we've got the parade this weekend. A lot of our Valley News Live team will be there during the parade time. I'm expecting 20s during the parade. Some chance of snowfall late on the day Saturday. So it could be occurring either starting during the parade or starting after the parade ends. But we'll be watching that very carefully, and some of those snow showers could linger into Sunday as well. But of course, Stacy will talk about the chance of showers for us tonight and also a heat wave. Or at least one day of heat, I should say, for tomorrow coming up here in a few minutes.
A short-lived heat wave. Thanks, Nathan. 2 people are under arrest after authorities say they went on a wild high-speed chase. The Benson County Sheriff's Department was called for a report of a stolen vehicle at a Devils Lake home around 10:30 last night. They were able to track down the car, but it kept going, reaching speeds more than 100 miles per hour. Deputies deflated 3 tires, causing the car to hit the ditch. That's when they say 2 people inside the car got out and ran. The 2 men were eventually found hiding in a field and arrested. Their names have not been released. The CDC has expanded its vaccine guidance to recommended all U.S. adults get a booster shot as concerns over the new coronavirus variant grow. Officials say it'll take a few more weeks before we know if the current vaccines protect against it. Naomi Ruckham reports from New York, where officials are already preparing.
As concern grows over the new Omicron variant of the coronavirus, the CDC issued new guidance saying everyone ages 18 and older should get a booster 6 months after their initial Pfizer or Moderna series or 2 months after J&J.
We fully anticipate this protection, at least in part, will be beneficial against Omicron.
Federal health officials say there is no evidence of the new strain in the U.S. yet. It has been confirmed in 20 countries since it was first reported in South Africa last week.
These mutations have been associated with increased transmissibility and immune evasion.
The CEO of vaccine maker Moderna reportedly said the existing vaccines will be much less effective against Omicron, telling the Financial Times, quote, All the scientists I've talked to are like, this is not going to be good. On CBS Mornings, NIH Director Dr. Francis Collins urged patience while we wait for answers.
The big question for most of us is, do the vaccines that have been put into a lot of people's arms, including mine, do they provide protection against this variant the way they have with Alpha and Beta and Gamma and Delta? And we won't know that for another couple of weeks.
State and local officials aren't taking any chances. Here in New York City, the mayor is advising everyone return to wearing a mask indoors.
We're telling you, get those masks back on now.
As an FDA panel meets to discuss emergency use authorization for Merck's antiviral pill, the company said it believes the drug will have similar effects against any coronavirus variant. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
The FDA panel's vote is not binding, but the agency usually follows the committee's recommendations. Studies have shown the drug cuts the risk of hospitalization and death in high-risk patients. Following a brief rebound yesterday, Dow futures were down more than 500 points at one point due to uncertainty surrounding the new variant. As of 5:30 this morning, the Dow futures were down 1.3%. S&P 500 E-mini futures were down 1.1%, and NASDAQ futures were down 0.5%. This comes after Moderna CEO predicted that existing vaccines would be less effective for the Omicron variant. Today, the chairman of the Federal Reserve told Congress inflation is likely to keep rising in the short term, pointing to supply chain logjams and the pandemic. The Treasury Secretary added that getting COVID-19 under control is the best way to get the economy back on track. Skylar Henry has details from Capitol Hill.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned a Senate panel that uncertainty over the supply chain and the Omicron COVID-19 variant may cause inflation to rise into the new year.
Greater concerns about the virus could reduce people's willingness to work in person, which would slow progress in the labor market and intensify supply chain disruptions.
The progress of our economy, of our economic recovery, can't be separated from our progress against the pandemic.
Mr. Powell added that inflation concerns could prompt the Fed to taper stimulating the economy through bond purchases over the next few months.
Now the economy is strong, and it's strong, and inflationary pressures are high. So we're looking going to discuss the possibility of a faster conclusion.
During the hearing, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen urged Congress to raise the debt limit by December 15th and defended the president's massive social spending bill.
You're going to add trillions more through the Build Back Better.
Build Back Better is fully paid for and will not add to the debt or to deficits.
Tuesday, President Biden traveled to Minnesota to sell the Build Back Better Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law. Meanwhile, the Federal Trade Commission has asked several major retailers and grocers to submit documents as part of its probe into supply chain disruptions and rising prices. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Senate Democratic leaders are pushing to pass the Build Back Better bill without Republican support before Christmas. A teen from Plymouth, Minnesota is the winner of a $100,000 college scholarship through the state's Kids Deserve a Shot campaign. Governor Walz announced Caitlin Knutson as the lucky winner. The 16-year-old says she got vaccinated to stay safe and so she could keep playing hockey. All Minnesotans 12 to 17 years old who have completed their COVID-19 vaccine series can be entered in the drawing for a $100,000 scholarship. 3 more drawings will take place over the next month. The accused driver in the Wisconsin holiday parade incident that killed 6 appeared in court via telephone this morning. The attorney representing Brooks prior to the parade incident requested to withdraw from the case because of a conflict of interest. The judge granted that motion. Brooks will be back in court on December 20th. This morning, lawyers and a judge began selecting the jury that will decide the fate of former Brooklyn Center police officer Kim Potter. Potter shot and killed 20-year-old Dante Wright during a traffic stop in April. She's charged with both first and second-degree manslaughter. The police chief at the time said Potter meant to use her taser but grabbed her gun. Potter's defense attorney says she will testify in the trial. Members of the new Minnesota Task Force on Missing and Murdered African-American Women gathered for the first time. The task force is the first such government-funded working group in the United States. Lawmakers voted earlier this year to create the group. Task force members say they're creating a blueprint for change, ensuring that both law enforcement and the community knows these cases deserve attention and immediate response. Power was finally restored in the town of Harvey, North Dakota this morning after being out for nearly a full day. The Otter Tail Power Company says a transformer failure at 9:45 yesterday morning is finally fixed. Crews worked through the night to get a new transformer in and the lights back on by around 5 a.m. During the outage, the city opened up the armory for those who needed a warm place to go. Miss North Dakota Caitlin Vogel was named the runner-up in the Miss USA pageant last night in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The top title went to Miss Kentucky, Elle Smith. Vogel is from Minot and also held the title for Miss North Dakota Teen USA a few years ago. She says she's a fifth-generation North Dakotan and comes from a family of farmers. One Missouri hunter got quite a surprise this hunting season. According to the Missouri Department of Conservation, Samuel Parati shot a 16-point deer on his property. He'd captured pictures of the deer, but while harvesting the animal, he was surprised to learn she's a doe. Wildlife experts say this can happen in an average of 1 in 10,000 does, making it an extremely rare harvest. Still to come here at 4, it's Giving Tuesday, and area nonprofits are asking for your generosity.
Traffic is heavy on our Luther Family Ford Skycam there. People getting out and about and heading home for the day. You can expect some showers in the metro, mixed showers possibly. Also between, say, the 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock hours. And then we're seeing clouds stick around for the rest of this evening. In Grand Forks, expecting only snow. Cold enough for only snow up toward the north. You see those temperatures near freezing. Warming up a bit, though. We'll break down how warm we get tomorrow next.